guys ever browse Steam or GOG and randomly stumble upon a game from your childhood that you forgot existed? You're like, oh shit, I remember playing that as a kid, but you're foggy on the details, so you impulse buy that game and then kind of regret it as you realize that it hasn't aged as well as you hoped. Well, all this happened to me this past week with Armed and Dangerous, a game I used to play on the original Xbox back in the day and still find pretty amusing, not really for the gameplay, but for the humor. You know, I never realized how funny this game was, but then again, a lot of these jokes were a little bit too highbrow for a kid. It's not every day a game gets compared to Monty fucking Python, but I digress.
Show me your papers, now!
You don't need to see our papers.
We don't need to see your papers.
Good. You're, quick! What should I say to them? I'm running out of power!
Vic, what should he say to us? He's running out of power.
Tell them they're both teapots. No Scottish miners. Look, just tell them we're not the ones they're looking for.
Wait! I can handle this. You're both... French!
We surrender!
Ah!
So Armed and Dangerous takes place in the fantasy world of Myola, where we follow a trio called the Lionhearts, Roman, some Deadminds looking motherfucker, Jonesy, the always irritated Scottish mole, and Q, the tea-loving robot. We follow them to the Arctic while they try to recruit a small guy named Rexus, whose skills they need to pull off a heist. The operation at hand being to take back the Book of Rule, a legendary book that offers supreme power. Meanwhile, the king has been trying to activate the shit to do just that. He also sends waves of his army to stop our band of misfits along their journey. For the rest of the game, the trio fights off the army while also helping the many wacky towns along the way. Now this is a game that could use a remaster because boy, this game is looking rough these days. You know a game is old when the highest resolution is around 720. Feel like busting out a fucking CRT monitor for this. Besides that, this is still the muddiest game I've played in a minute. This game sure loves its Rocky Mountain levels. Don't know why, that's when this game looks the worst with the low detailed browns everywhere. Could probably make a similar looking level in Unity if you give me 2 weeks. And look at this, it looks like Romans gliding across the ground. What type of walking animation is this? You know, even during its time, the game was nothing special visually. I mean, we got Jack 2 and Going Commando the same year that did the whole fast-paced cartoony animation style much better. Probably a little unfair to compare to the cream of the crop at that time, but still. These still-faced, herky-jerky animations look really awkward, which is why I'm advocating a remake of some sort because a lot of these jokes would land harder if the animations were as funny as the jokes. Trust me, these jokes deserve some better animation.
Give me the kiss.
What?
You heard me. Give me the kiss. Give me the kiss now. Your friends are dead.
What the bloody hell is this man saying? Give him a kiss?
No idea, but you better do something quick. Give me the kiss now. What the f are you doing? That's it. You're all dead.
Hold it! Wait! Give me another chance. It's been a long time since I kissed a man. I can do better!
Kiss! You moron! I said give me the kiss! Sorry, our mistake.
These devs clearly know how to write comedy though. Maybe comparing it to Monty Python is a bit much, but there is an obvious influence of dry British humor that coats a lot of these jokes. It's both dry as fuck and absurdist. It won't be for everyone, but it did get some chuckles out of me.
Oh, yes, and the army very big and close to Stig. Maybe we attack now?
Maybe not, sire. I believe that the army you're currently observing is your own.
Keep your voice down, or they will hear us.
Sire, this is your army. The enemy is behind you.
Yes, but it could be a trick.
Sire, if you look this way, you'll see the abbey.
Very small.
That's because it's far away, sire. Look, what would you like us to do?
Retreat?
Yes, but we haven't engaged them yet.
This game is kind of like Metal Arms, where you have to wonder who this game was marketed towards. On the surface, you think this game is another cartoony shooter for general audiences, but then some of the characters start cursing, which throws that out the window.
Whoa, dude! Get awesome!
sorry.
You know, this game may be ugly as shit, but at least the voice acting is super on point. Huh, I actually recognize some of these names. Was wondering why so many of these voices sounded familiar to me. For a small project like this, they didn't even have to go this hard, but I'm glad they did. The delivery of these jokes really sells them. Kind of funny hearing a bunch of Americans trying their hardest to sound British, but they actually do a really good job. At least to my American ears.
Well, what now?
Patience. She will appear when she's ready.
What does that mean? When she's had her hair done? After the gills have been waxed? Oh, this is pointless.
Jonesy!
What? What did he just do?
Well, Rex, put it this way. Your beloved lady of the pond is now lying face down in the water with some major head trauma.
You can tell a good amount of these sound effects are stock when the game gets quiet, but luckily this game is barely ever quiet, so it's not too big of a distraction. You know, I never really noticed how plain much of this game's presentation is. I'm not talking about the graphics anymore, but these plain text explanations that pop up whenever you start or beat a level. There's no graphic design whatsoever. I get getting to the point, but I do like a little pizzazz. Whenever you beat a level, it's pretty jarring when the game just stops and it's like congratulations, I guess, in like the tiniest text. But fuck all that, obviously the look of this game has noticeably aged. The real wonder I had was if the gameplay was still pretty good or not, since whenever people praise this game, they only talk about how funny this game is. And after coming back to this, I could definitely see why. The gameplay is nothing special. It's your typical third-person shooter of that era. You know, an arsenal of weapons, shooting down waves of enemies. Much of this game is mission based, where you generally have to either destroy a set amount of towers or take these peasants to a safe place. It's a lot easier said than done though, because this game is not shy with the amount of enemies it throws at you. You know you're playing an older game when you can blatantly see the game infinitely responding enemies. It's annoying as fuck, especially since enemies actually have good aim and it doesn't take too many shots to take you down. This is especially true with the snipers in this game, who will melt you down on like 2 shots. And sniping them back is not that easy, since you're going to be bombarded with regular dudes trying to kill you. I don't even know why there is sniping in this game. Seems counterintuitive to the run and gun gameplay that the game obviously wants you to lean into. And speaking of your arsenal of weapons, what you gotta work with is pretty underwhelming. You know, for a game so focused on humor, you would expect some of that humor to seep into the gameplay and what the characters do. But all your weapons are your standard gun archetypes that you see in like a million other games. The only exception, of course, is the land gun shark, which is still as absurd as I remember. Really wish there was more crazy shit like this to mess around with. I do think it was a missed opportunity to not get funny with the gameplay. The devs clearly had it in them, but maybe they didn't have enough time. Something I suspect when it comes to the execution of controlling Q and Jonesy. Yeah, these two guys are actually with you on some of the missions, and you can actually command them to either defend you or certain areas. However, they're fucking useless. At best, they distract like 1 or 2 guys. They die easily too, but you won't even care since you're doing all the work. Hell, half of these missions are rolling solo anyway. I would rather have Donald and Goofy by my side, and anyone that's played Kingdom Hearts knows how useless those guys in those games are. At least you could use them to transform and shit. Q and Jonesy especially become a pain in missions where you'll fail if they die, which they do often. And make no mistake about it, you're gonna die a lot too, because this game is fucking hard. Some of these missions are just pure gauntlets of endurance with how many enemies they throw at you. These turret missions were fine in the beginning, but later on you just have to spray and pray and hope that it's enough. Wish there weren't so many of these, as I don't really find them as engaging as the foot missions. Also really anticlimactic for the game to end on one of these things. Maybe they want to subvert having a big boss battle in the end, but I'm not a fan. I don't want to crap on the gameplay too much because I do like how fast paced and chaotic the shooting is. Going crazy with the shooting and mowing down all these orc dudes as a 3-man army is satisfying. I just wish that the missions were a bit more interesting. Destroying towers and saving peasants did get old quick. Luckily a lot of these missions are really short, but I do have trouble remembering any levels that weren't absurdly hard. Also, is it just me, or is the mouse sensitivity mad high in this game? Like, I literally put the setting to 0, and my character was still spazzing all over the place with minor wrist flicks. Something that's also weird is the damn compass. It guides you to your objective, and for the most part it helps you out. But for whatever reason, when you're down to your last objective, it abruptly stops guiding you. I don't know what the reason for this is, but it did get me lost on saving the last peasant in some of these missions, which was a real pain in the ass.
Death
to the Salinators! Aha! Death to the Salinators!
So obviously this game doesn't take itself seriously, and that translates to the story and characters. Our ragtag group of rebels are likable, though you don't really get to know them too much as characters since there's nothing to give them any development. This is most definitely a comedy first and foremost, because the wacky hijinks that our main characters get top priority over any sort of drama. Even though there's a goal where time is of the essence, the Lionhearts just kind of stumble through the world nonchalantly. It's strangely relaxing. If you were to remove these cutscenes from the game and air them on their own, you would get like an old Adult Swim cartoon. At least, that's the vibe I get. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but yeah, this game is funny as shit. This is one of those games where I actually found myself looking forward to the cutscene because the witty dialogue and slapstick is just too entertaining.
Why does everyone have that reaction? Yes, Zetwalla. Just tell us where it is.
Up the road. Next village.
Wait, where are you going?
My tea's waiting.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
Stop or I'll...
I won't.
Not so fast.
That's what your mama said to me last night.
What?
So yeah, that's Armed and Dangerous. A funny but incredibly flawed game. Hasn't aged the best in many aspects, but I didn't mind revisiting it because it's still high quality in the humor. I recommend this game if you're looking for a good laugh. It's usually between $3 to $6, so it's not like you're blowing too much if you try this out. Anyway, that's all I gotta say about this. Help this video out by doing the usual stuff, and until next time.